Hello, everybody, and welcome to another webinar on getting ready for Manufacturing Month. We're so excited that you're here. My name is Ernie Friend, the director of FLATE, and the entire FLATE team is myself, Dr. Marilyn Barger, Danley Orazo Cole, and Teresa Potter. And we are so glad you're here today to learn more about Manufacturing Month. What FLATE does is FLATE drives Florida's world-class manufacturing workforce education and training. And now, without further ado, let me hand it over to Teresa to talk more about Manufacturing Month.
Welcome, everybody. During today's session, we're going to share our knowledge and experience for planning your student event. We're going to include a panel of two experts who will share their specific best practices and tips for executing a successful event. And we'll end with a Q&A session. So please put your questions in the chat as we go, because we're going to cover a lot of information in a very short time. Just to get you familiar with Manufacturing Month, Manufacturing Month in Florida will kick off this year on National Manufacturing Day, which is October 3rd. It's always the first Friday in October. And in Florida, we celebrate it throughout the month of October and really any time throughout the year that it's convenient for your students and for our manufacturers. And we now recommend weather backup plans for fall events as well. FLATE and our statewide network of partners has been helping to promote Manufacturing Month since 2012, when National Manufacturing Day was first established. And right from the beginning, the goal has been to highlight the importance of manufacturing to our economy, as well as the many rewarding, high-skilled careers available in manufacturing fields. And then the ultimate goal has been to support our manufacturers across the country and in Florida to help build a steady pipeline of qualified talent to build and support manufacturing into the future. So just to share a little bit of information, the Manufacturing Day and Manufacturing Month events have been being tracked since 2012, and it has shown them to be very impactful with students. These are just some of the national statistics, that 89% became more aware of manufacturing jobs. 87% learned that the perception of manufacturing jobs that they had thought of were not true, that they were unsafe, clean, and they were high tech. 84% after tours thought that manufacturing careers could be exciting and rewarding versus before the tours, and 71% wanted to share the information that they learned during their tours with others. And so it has been very impactful to get students out to manufacturing facilities, to see the facilities, to see the jobs, to talk to the people who are doing those jobs. But there are many, many different types of events that you can hold that are also impactful with students that get the information out about manufacturing careers and career paths. Besides in-person tours to facilities, since 2020, it has become more common for some manufacturers to do live virtual tours. They can set it up with your classroom to do a virtual tour where they walk through the facility and show the students, and then they do a live Q&A, except virtually, with the students, talking to them about their facility. There are school-wide and district-wide events, career fairs, expos that manufacturers can participate in, and it is not uncommon now to see manufacturing-specific expos, many times coordinated through the local partners that you see listed here. The CTE coordinators in your school district, some of whom are on this call today, our regional manufacturing associations, which one of our experts today is from and will speak to. We help coordinate tours. Our community and state colleges, we have many of our educators and program managers from our state colleges on this call today as well. In addition to helping to have their students get out and visit manufacturers, doing tours that include engineering programs at the two-year colleges near you can also be great to show the career paths and the many manufacturing related programs at those facilities as part of Manufacturing Month are great as well. So there's multiple ways to partner with our community and state colleges, as well as local career source and other workforce organizations. And we're going to get into the specifics of how to set up your tours. The last thing I want to mention is just that it's important for us to track what's happening with these tours and how frequently we're getting the word out, so that we just ask, if you plan an event, that you help register it with us. You can email us directly at events@flate.org. There's also information on our website where you can just fill out a form and send that back to us, which Daniele will talk about in just a second. And if you share it out on social media using one of these hashtags, and we will share this presentation with you so you have it handy, we will share it back out on ours and amplify that information. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Daniele.
Thank you, Teresa. I just drop in the chat box the links so you can take notes or where to find where to report the events and the social media events. I am really happy to share the resources that we have. Flate provides a variety of resources to support the planning of Manufacturing Month event. But before we dive into the resources, I want to highlight 2 best practices guides. You can see on the left is focused on manufacturing tours, industry tours, and on the right is a more overall covering any outreach program, and it's called Adopt a School. Both guides are designed to support outreach efforts that change perception of manufacturing careers and inspire the next generation, which is our ultimate goal to do it. But now I want to do this live. I know most of the presentations are with slides, but I decided to do this showing you how you can find our resources. So do you want to continue? Yes. There it is. Okay, can you see the Manufacturing Month landing page?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So this is how it looks once you type the madeinflorida.org Manufacturing Day. This is the landing page with the goals and objectives and why it's important. And scrolling down, we have the resources with ideas and a lot of resources to help you plan Manufacturing Month. So first, like Teresa was mentioning, we have how to reach out to your local regional manufacturing association, or we call it also RMA, or your college, or whoever in your area plans this. If you don't know, you can contact us. We will be dropping our email also, and we will guide you who you need to contact in order to do this. Register your event. You can either do it yourself, filling in the form that is right there, or contact me or Teresa. And this is the general event also that you can email us, reporting whatever you have planned for Manufacturing Month or any question. Again, the social media then Teresa was mentioning. And here is a link to the best practice guides for industry tour. We have split our resources depending on who are the ones. Either you're a host or you're an educator. You can be also both. We have a lot of colleges that they open the doors to show they have, so they can recruit students into these beautiful manufacturing careers. Now, if you decide to go for virtual tours, in addition than in-person tours, you can use this What is Made in Your Backyard. Is divided by regions. We have 5 regions, and they are short and sweet and amazing videos showing what is made actually in Florida, and it comes with some lessons. Very, very entertaining video. Students, you know, the spam of these kids now are very short. I promise you, you will not get bored, and you will be surprised also as an educator to see what is made in the backyard. More about virtual tours and all year round resources. We have the Adopt a School guide. And we have also our partners in crime, our Manufacturing Institute, and also NIST, National Institute of Standards of Technology, some of their resources. We all are behind the same goal: promote manufacturing careers and change the perception and recruit our future manufacturers. If you continue scrolling down, we have promo materials for you to use to help you out promote your events and to teach your students what a great manufacturing career are, and related to STEM, all the STEM topics can be related to this, and you can see how they apply into the real world scenario. Going down, last but not least, like Teresa mentioned earlier, impact. We need to measure impact. It's very important for all of us to see this great effort that we do as a team and to see how important what we do when do these industry tours or any other event. In this case, we really push for industry tours to do this and do the post-event for students, educators, as well as parents and whoever participates. That will help us to also improve and do better next time. And then with this, I will stop here. I wanted to share more, but we can do afterwards, or just send me a link with a question that if you want any specific of these resources, I can show it to you. Presentation, because we have our guest speakers that I'm pretty sure you're triggered to talk about. Before that, this is a checklist that you always need to keep in mind. And I know our guest speakers are going to talk about that, you know, the planning before, during, and post. Very important to divide our planning into that. Next. So it is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speakers. Michael McCullough is the curriculum specialist at Pinellas County Schools, and Rob Harris. He is the executive director for the Sarasota, Manatee, and Southwest Region Manufacturers Association. They are incredible, and they both are award winners of some of the best manufacturing month student events throughout Florida. And they have over 7+ years of experience planning and executing manufacturing months. And next. So our discussion will be around these questions. We will start with Michael, followed by Rob. And how do you coordinate industry tours? So keep in mind, key partners, logistics, and resources, and challenges from the industry perspective, Michael, and from, educators' perspective, Michael, and Rob from the industry perspective. Michael, the floor is yours.
Thank you. No, thank you, Daniele, for inviting me. Thank you all for being here today. I am a huge fan of Flate. I highly suggest keeping all these people's email addresses near your heart, because they come in real handy when you are looking for things related to manufacturing. And specifically, recently, I've had to programs start at the middle school level, and I have some great help from the people here at Flate. So thank you guys. So for tours, usually again, I start and kind of the pre-planning. I usually start early. This is the time of the year where I start to look at manufacturing tours. I work with BAMA, which is the Bay Area Manufacturers Association. So it's my local association. I can't tell you how important they are in the logistics of this. I've been on many calls on a Monday morning calling around to local manufacturers, but on most of the time, they handle all the contact through the manufacturers. But if there's something specific I might be going after, I might reach out to them individually without BAMA, but that's, whatnot. Like I said, I start early. I start trying to figure out which programs and then which manufacturers I'm going to match up to. I try to match programs as best as possible. So if I have a machining manufacturer who's really into our machining programs, I'm going to try to make sure that that program's hooked up. I might even go outside my area. So we have some biomed manufacturers here in Pinellas County. And while that's not under me, I'll reach out to my health occupations associate and see if I can get, her students to there, because it just makes more sense. I use my Perkins funding for busing. That's where the whole thing is. For Pinellas County, it is a challenge for us in buses. We do not, can't use our own personal buses anymore. We have to hire buses from the outside. So that's where I said I use Perkins funding for the organizing the trips. And I have a great relationship with the bus companies. So that's a key one. I always say you find those key people. I've made a good connection with one of our local bus companies, and she's really good at making that happen. I'll contact the manufacturer in advance to kind of feel out what their plan is for the day, because you might just have to, tweak the manufacturer a little bit. They may not be used to having students roaming around their manufacturing. So I always kind of have that conversation, say, hey, what's the plan? What do you have for them? How can we assist? And usually they're very receptive, because they are, they want the visits and they want the tours. But, like, again, they're not used to having students running around, especially if we do middle school students. I love to see middle school students, especially going to some of our manufacturers, because that inspires them. And I'm sure, just like all of you, a lot of our decision making for our students needs to be done by the time they get to their freshman year. So it's good that we get middle school programs out. Now, I don't send every middle school program we have, but I do try to look in specifically and to see if I've got a teacher that's into 3D printing, that might be something that spurs on, a student to go into manufacturing, later on down the road. What else? Think that's it right now, is what I can think of, and I'm sure I'll think of ideas as people ask them. But Rob, you're much better looking than I am, so I'm gonna handle over to you.
Well, thank you, Michael. I don't know about that, and I've never been called distinguished before, so I appreciate that, Danielle. So yeah, thank you to the Flake team for the opportunity to speak with everybody today. Just like Flake being under the Florida makes umbrella, so is SAMA and CIRMA. So we do work very closely together. And I know some of the people within the school systems on this call I have worked with, both in the past and currently. So there might be some real life input that others can share as well. So Michael touched on a bunch of good things. And I'm going to put a link in the chat here. And I'm sharing this with you, the educators, just so you can see what we've created to help connect the dots. And Michael just referred to talking about the right students with the right manufacturers. And sometimes that's industry related. Sometimes that's the level of the student. So one of the questions that we ask on this form is to the manufacturers is, what type of student do you want on these tours? And this form and a lot of the questions started because when I worked for a manufacturer in Manatee County, I hosted the tours. And I had great tours with students that I would never hire. And I'm like, okay, something's not right here. And we realized it was just communication that was missed, right? I've got this engineering STEM program where every kid in it plans to go to a 4-year university and get an engineering degree. And the company I worked for would never hire a single person with an engineering degree. So a lot of the questions within the form came from that experience. Look, we've got students that are going to go right into the workforce. We have students that want to go to tech college. We have students that'll go to 2-year college, 4-year college. Some students have no idea what they want to do. So there are times where, getting that information will help you get the right pairing. Michael also alluded to the middle schoolers. I am 100% in agreement. We have got to start with career awareness. And one of the challenges with manufacturers is I can't hire an 8th grader. Why would I want an 8th grader coming through my shop? And I have to beat it into them that you're missing the point. This is not necessarily a job fair. This is career awareness. But here's one of the challenges. Many manufacturers can't have 8th graders on the floor because they're under 16. So when we have this form go out, those are some of the questions we ask. What are the restrictions? No sense in somebody trying to organize a middle school class to meet with a manufacturer when they can't even allow them on the floor. We also ask about lunch. We know some of the students are Title I, or they have to bring their lunch, or the cafeteria has to prepare lunch. We ask the manufacturers, will you provide lunch? We also know that the busing is a challenge. Sometimes it's the cost, sometimes it's the amount of buses, the bus drivers, and it's also the amount of students that need to be on the bus. So to arrange a student tour for 20 students at one location may not work for that particular county because if they don't have 40 students on the bus, they can't pay for the bus. So we will help coordinate that. We will help try to get two manufacturers, or we will help try to get a manufacturer that is willing to take 40 students. That's another challenge, is you got a class of 40, but the manufacturer you really want to go to says, I can't handle more than 20. What do you do? So how about we get two manufacturers that are in the same industrial park, and 20 go to manufacturer A, 20 go to B. They each get fed lunch. After lunch, they flip-flop. And now you have a second plan tour, 2-for-1 deal. That has worked very well. The other thing I want to share is how to connect with the manufacturers. And I've seen this done multiple ways. I work primarily with the CTE directors in the K through 12 arena. And then also we do work with the post-secondary, especially at the tech college level. Um, and we have found success in different ways of doing this. So the CTE director may be the one to pair up the classes with the manufacturers. This class would be a perfect fit with that manufacturer. But then we've had it where they turn it over to the instructor and let the instructor figure out the actual logistics, time of day of the week, etc., and then finalize the day. We've had others where the CTE directors figure it all out and they create a master itinerary of all the schools that are participating. And again, there's benefits and there's pros and cons. The pro is it's all figured out. The con is you get one manufacturer that can't oblige to the itinerary. And now you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how do we make this adjustment without affecting all the other manufacturers? And sometimes that gets a little dicey as well. But those are the primary things that we try to do. And Teresa mentioned COVID and the pivot towards virtual. And we tried to do that. And right after COVID, when we presented that to the manufacturers, I'm getting phone calls saying, so Rob, when are you coming to video? When are you coming to record? And I'm like, no, I'm not coming to record. That's on you. And some of these manufacturers are smaller. They don't have a videographer. They don't even have a marketing department. So we started throwing out some ideas. Well, last year, I ended up connecting, it was by happenstance. I ended up connecting with a digital video instructor at one of the technical colleges and asked if she ever does real life projects. Can we get your students to go out in the field, go to these manufacturing facilities, and record a student tour? And she's like, oh my God, that would be fantastic. So we then put out a call to the manufacturers and said, hey, we're looking for volunteers. We had about 10 and we selected 7 and they turned out excellent. It was great. And in promoting that since that time, a lot of what I hear is that would be great for dual enrollment students. The question then is how do the students get to the manufacturers, right? Sometimes that's not going to be by bus. It's on them. They have to drive themselves. Is that okay? Can it be done during school hours, after school hours? I mean, there's those types of logistics. But those work really well. And then the other thing that we try to do is we try to bring the manufacturers into the classroom. And sometimes that is to speak to the students to get them excited. And sometimes that's to speak just to the instructors. I'll give you examples of both. I had an instructor that said to me, I teach 4 levels of engineering, and I can tell in about 3 weeks which ninth graders are going to be lucky to graduate high school, let alone go to college. And I want to know if I'm doing the best job I can do to prepare those students for a job fresh out of school. So we invited 5 manufacturers, which turned out to be 13 people, to go into one of these high schools and meet with 2 of the instructors. It was fantastic. She gave us a tour, and it turned out that there were 2 welding machines tucked in the corner, and one of our attendees said, what's the deal with those welding machines? And she said, they're broken. Well, I just so happen to have the director of welding from one of our manufacturing companies say, I'll pick those up on Friday if you'll let me, and I'll fix them. Like she started to cry. I mean, so you never know what level you're going to get. And then with the students, we went into a high school. It happened to be a Title I high school. I had the CEO of a billion-dollar company. I had the HR director of a boat manufacturer who everybody knows the name. And I had the vice president of the company who does all sorts of automation. And one of the things I asked the students was, how many of you have part-time jobs? And just about everybody raised their hand. And I said, how many of you would like your part-time job to be your full-time career? And they all put their hands down. And I said, now, wouldn't you rather have a part-time job with one of these three companies? And when I said that, they all, well, not all, 50% of them went from slouching in their chair to all sitting up straight. And they just didn't think about things like that. And all three of these companies, they had no idea even existed, and they were all within a 3-mile radius of the school. So you just never know where these connections are going to go. And that's all we are, dot connectors. So once the connections are made, we're out of it. Once you've made friends with that manufacturer, I don't need to be in the middle of it. None of these resources need to be in the middle of it. We just need to know the impacts so that Flate can capture them. And that includes number of students, the date of the tour, the manufacturer, company name, the school name. I believe the school program, is it engineering? Is it, what is it? Et cetera. And then lastly, I know we're running out of time here. Lastly, I want to point out, please don't only focus on STEM. We don't just need the STEM students.
Right.
And we don't just need the CTE students. If we can get a sixth grader that's just good in math to be exposed to the jobs that are in manufacturing, we may reach somebody that never would have even thought of manufacturing. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. So just to sum it up, so these are some of the things that we discussed today. And for those of you in the audience today, just keep in mind, if you've never done a Manufacturing Month event, yeah, the first time you do it, it is a little stressful, but certainly we're here to help, and that's the important thing. We're here to help, and after you get by the first one, the rest are pretty easy, I think. So let's see. I think we're ready to open it up for questions. I know everybody's mics are locked. I think we can unlock them. Can you, if anybody has any questions, I'm not sure if the
And raise-
audience can.
If they can raise their hand, I can unlock the mic, or they can put a question in the chat. I don't see any.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So if someone has a question, raise your hand and we'll unmute your mic. While we're waiting for that, look at, certainly reach out to us if you have any questions or you want us to help you get connected and do your first Manufacturing Month event. We'll be happy to do that. Daniele showed you all the great resources that are available. If you go to flake.org, there are a lot of resources there that you can use. And like I mentioned, the three of us are here to help. So I believe Teresa is going to send out this PowerPoint sometime soon. So don't worry about writing all this down. You'll have the whole PowerPoint soon. Okay, Brent. Hey, Brent. That's fine, Jen. We'll unmute you.
Just so you
Hey.
know, we couldn't, the chat's blocked, so we haven't been able to chat the whole time. So if anyone had any
Oh
questions,
no.
yeah. And less of a question and just maybe a little piece of advice, Ernie. This was great information. Thank you so much. But the first week of classes, this is rough. I got interrupted several times during this. I don't know if the next time we do this, we can try to avoid the first week of classes. It's really difficult. My instructor couldn't be here. I really wanted him to be here for this. But anyway, just a little piece of advice, maybe try to avoid that crazy first week of the semester for meetings
Yeah,
like that.
that's good advice, Brent. I know that schools kind of come in at different times. For a lot of schools, though, actually this week was their first. Yeah, that's good advice. And hopefully we'll see you or your new instructor at the ET Forum. Yeah, we're really excited about you rebuilding your program there. Anybody else? Just raise your hand and we'll get to you.
Chat is
And
also
this is
unlocked.
okay, thank you. And keep in mind, this isn't the end. Like I mentioned, you see the names there. We're here to help you. We're helping people all over the state do Manufacturing Month events. So, we've got lots of experience, and we're here to help you on your first or your 100th, whatever you need the help with. All right, what's that, Michael?
No, I was just going to say, I wanted to piggyback real quick on what Rob said too about the adoption. one of the things I really tell all my teachers too is once they are there, make that connection with that manufacturer, because even though they may not come back on another tour, that manufacturer may support that program moving forward. And I can't tell you how many times, especially like I have a teacher at Dunedin High School, and she's made great connections with our local manufacturers. And when she needs some support, she has a network to fall on too. So it's it's not just for the students too, I guess I should say.
Mhm.
Yeah, good point. All right, everybody, I think our 30 minutes is up. We appreciate you taking your very valuable time and joining us today. So please reach out to us after if you have any questions or comments, and we'll be happy to help you out. Take care and have a great semester.
Bye, everyone.